This is Heart Rhythm TV, and I am Julie Shea here with another episode of Advancing Allieds. This is the first of a three-part series on AP publishing. With me today, I have Erica Zado, who is a physician assistant from the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. Welcome, Erica.
Welcome. Thank you.
Great. So Erica is actually on the Heart Rhythm Journal. And Erica, can you tell me a little bit more about your role? Tell me about the journal and about your role.
Yeah, so Heart Rhythm Journal, as you know, is the flagship journal of the Heart Rhythm Society. And I'm the Allied Professional Section editor. So in that capacity, in addition to helping review articles that come in from allied professionals, I have a monthly column that I write about what's new in electrophysiology, where I basically take a paper from the previous month and sort of do a mini editorial, mini review, and then deconstruct one part of that topic to sort of broaden the education for allied. So it's one page,
Great,
and but it's like a little mini review to keep people up to date on what's happening in the world of research and around in electrophysiology.
Okay, and is this published in the paper journal or online?
Both. So it's
both
So you find there's actually a series of these columns, like basic science one, case reports one that Jared Bunch does. Mark Estes does clinical electrophysiology, and then I do allieds. And so it's so again, it's sort of a little rapid fire sort of what's going on in other journals, and with as far as papers, and and then my focus has always been then to have a little educational snippet at the end of my column about like this part of that paper.
Yeah, kind of the takeaway message.
Yeah,
from it,
like one bullet point that you need to kind of keep in mind about whatever that paper was about.
Okay,
So.
and what are some examples of some things that you've done recently?
So recently, there was some papers about scar in the importance of finding scar in cardiomyopathy, and the fact that non-ischemic cardiomyopathy, the fact that the patients with non-ischemic cardiomyopathy with scar on their MRIs have a higher incidence of sudden death and ventricular arrhythmias. Or and there'll be this month I'll be writing it on the plane home. There's a couple of VT ablation trials that were published, so might do something about that. So all anything, and like I try every month to have it's not always possible because you have to take whatever was published the last month, but that grabbed my eye, as it were. But I try to sort of rotate the topic so it's not all AFib or not all anticoagulation or all inherited arrhythmia syndromes, so just kind of move it around, and so it's always a little bit something new. And then the other thing I want to try and work in this month is that the professional competencies are being published, I believe, this month in HRO2, and I think that's what my highlighting piece is going to be about, and the fact that the allied professional or advanced practitioner competencies are published along with the physician competencies, and make a pitch to make sure people know that those are there and to look out for them. So
excellent. So can you tell me a little bit about what's involved with regards to allied professionals about publishing for Heart Rhythm?
Yeah, I find that, and we're going to have a session tomorrow at the meeting to sort of demystify it, because I find so many people are very afraid almost of publishing, research and publishing. It is a little hard to break into, and it's a lot easier when you're at an academic center where you have, sort of built-in mentors, as it were, and that are interested. But anybody can do it, and publishing. The hardest part, to me, the hardest part is actually doing the research project and getting all that together. But to get published, you have to realize you're going to get some no's, and not always rejected, but you always get, okay, you have to change X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know whether it's an allied thing or just a people thing, frankly. People don't like to hear that you have to, redo all your work that you spent hours and hours and hours on. Like, you have to do more hours and hours and hours. But that's part of it. But you can break in. I personally think, especially for allieds, that the case reports are probably it's easier because it's more. Well, it's all structured, but it's more structured, and it's sort of a smaller bite, as it were.
Yep.
Because if you have one or two cases, and then you do your lit search and discussion and everything, I find that to be much more manageable, at least in my brain. I mean, it's still, the publishing process is still the same as far as you send it in, make sure you're reading your rules, you're submitting rules, because following the rules makes a difference. Otherwise, it comes flying back at you.
Where can people find the rules?
Online, under usually I think for all the HR journals on the submission site, there's author instructions for authors, and you just again read that, because even just something as dumb as like not having the references correctly referenced, it just comes right back at you. So following the rules, and you submit it, and then you wait. Thankfully, for all the Heart Rhythm journals, the review time is very short, usually within 2 weeks. You typically have an answer back, and then again, if they reject it outright, there's other journals that you can go to. People need to know, okay, it's not like somebody didn't ask you to the prom. You go find in our journal. There's other journals, and if you want my suggestion about which journal to send it to next, I'm more than happy to offer that up. But it's just it is daunting at first, but then once you do it, it's kind of like it's not
understand
that,
the process
it's
and
not
everything.
That daunting. It's not that it's rewarding.
Yeah.
So I always try and encourage people to get involved and think outside their comfort zone, because I think a lot of us as allieds, again with the case reports, you see things that like you think, okay, whatever. It's like, and I'm always like, people like, that's different. That's new. Other people need to know this. That's why you write. And try and encourage people.
It all
to do
advances the science, right?
It advances the science, because, it's a lot of things that are things start with a case report. Frankly, like, oh, I see these people with a funny pattern on their EKG, and they're dropping dead. Like you don't think that's how Brugada syndrome? It started with a small series,
observation,
and then it, all of a sudden it's like a thing.
Right.
Then maybe get your name on a syndrome. That'd be great. I don't think that'll happen, but whatever.
Great. And I understand that you're a mentor for HRS, so that would be, I guess, another thing that to encourage people to get a mentor. That's someone that's had experience publishing.
Correct. Like if you're looking into it, and again, the session that we're going to have tomorrow, we're going to have round tables that people can meet those of us who have published, and more than happy again to offer up any suggestions, any sort of support that can be offered too, because it is much easier if you are connected with somebody that's done it, because again it's a new playing field, and you need to know the rules.
Absolutely.
So
great. Well, thank you so much, Erica, for your time today, and to our audience, this is going to be the first part of our series on publishing for allied professionals. Stay tuned for part 2. This is Julie Shea, Heart Rhythm TV.